Hey, it worked. All right, so there we go. Hi. It took me a minute to actually go live. So, hi and welcome to the feelings class or the emotions class or Oils 109. My name is Jessica Collins. I am the pink-haired oils lady, and I am going to be teaching you tonight right here in the event, and I hope that wasn't confusing to anybody. I'm pretty sure I'm in the right spot. Let me see if I can get some of these people here. Hi, Patty. Hi, Melody. All right. I am trying to... I'm trying to see if I can invite the right people. Not that anybody who's here now is the wrong people. I just want to make sure that the people who said, yes, please, I need to be there, are here. So, hi. Hi, Charmaine. Hey, Patty. So, I just really wanted to thank you for your time. I'm so honored that you're choosing to spend your time here with me tonight. Hopefully, this class will give you some of the tools that you need to better equip yourself to help you and possibly your entire family to just kind of handle emotions in a more healthy way. And all right, people are here. So you could be anywhere tonight and you are choosing to be here. And that is huge. And I am so honored that you guys are choosing to be here with me tonight. Hey, Abigail. Hey, Michelle. So let me get the introductions out of the way real quickly. Most of you know me, some of you don't, just so we can have this quick powerhouse of a class. All right. Like I see a couple of people on here that I actually messaged while I was like editing the class, and I'm like, I need to take a break. Wow, okay, just wow, like so many things that it's like if I knew this 10 years ago or 14 years ago, or if my parents knew this or whatever, okay, so thank you for being here. Hi, Samantha. So my name is Jessica Collins. I have 5 homeschooled kids, 1 husband, an ever-changing number of chickens, and 1 dog, all of whom we use oils on regularly. My life, welcome. Hi, Gretchen. My life has basically been one trauma after another. And I have only recently learned things about emotions and oils that will help me detox from those traumatic emotions, okay? Like, actually have a healthier body, not to mention a new reaction pattern, okay, because of it. And so I want to share that with you and your family, and I hope that everything you learn tonight will not be overwhelming and make you feel helpless, which is an emotion, hello, but leave you feeling empowered and hopeful. So, have you ever heard the phrase, hurting people hurt people? Okay, I don't know if that's just something that's like in a Celebrate Recovery circle or what, but hurting people hurt people. Well, that doesn't have to be true. Okay, it should be. Yeah, thank you, Patty. It should be hurting people learn to use tools to deal with their own emotions so that they don't lash out from triggering past hurts to cause future hurts in a new generation. But that's way longer. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about triggers, your warning signs, okay? Like your body warns you before you erupt. Your body warns you before you explode. Your body warns you before you melt down. How you can recognize them before they start that explosion. Different oils that help your emotions. And I want to stress to you, okay? Here's me looking right at you. I want to stress to you, do not leave, okay? Do not leave this class. All right, if you think this information is too woo-woo or you don't agree with what I'm saying at one moment, please stay and hear me out, Okay, some of this information a couple of years ago, I would have been like, okay, all right, I'm done now. But I I just, the way that God designed our bodies and our minds and how they work together is so complex, and it's scientific but also mysterious, and we're still like learning. Okay, so I don't want you to get uncomfortable with something that I'm saying and then miss out on where I am going with it. Okay, so I'm gonna read. There are a couple of different like little excerpts and stuff from books that I wanted to share. So, no plant can live if the root is cut away, and that is Louise L. Hay, dealing with emotions in her book Heal Your Body. And don't like freak out and think that you have to take all of the notes to right now. This class is going to stay up until at least Sunday. Just sit with this and absorb it, and I will be putting up book lists and oil lists and stuff at the end of class, so don't freak out like, oh, I missed that. Okay, so Louise L. Hay, Heal Your Body. What kids need more than anything is adults around them who are aware of and actively working on their own emotional and behavioral regulation. All right, if you want your child to be able to handle or regulate their emotions appropriately, you need to be able to handle yours. Okay, a little bit of preaching to the choir here. Now, kids learn so well by mirroring or mimicking, so if you have a hard time regulating your moods, your reactions, your behaviors, your emotions, then so will your children. All right, maybe you've already experienced that. I know I have, and I have been working hard for a few years now to stop the cycle of exhibiting unhealthy emotional behavior, so my kids have a better handle on handling their own moods and reactions and emotions, the whole nine yards. So when I started oiling 10 or 11 years ago, okay, I believed they were just a pretty smell, that you could put in a diffuser, or merely like, oh, it's supposed to be like relaxing to your mind or whatever, like lavender during massage. It's because the oils that I had used, yes, Michelle, I also have many children that are very distracting from, it's like, I needed to hear that. Thank you. You made me deaf to it. So, so the oils that I had used before were not pure. All right, so I was not getting the effect that I was needing from them because they weren't actual oils, okay? You don't want something that is distilled with chemical solvents and carcinogens and just crap in your drinking water or up your nose, right? I thought all oils were the same, and man, was I wrong, okay? So one of the most powerful uses for authentic essential oils is for the brain. It's for emotions. It's where oils really get to show off. So I use the word authentic because you don't want anything in your diffuser that you don't want in your brain. All right. If you have like a tainted cheap oil, you better toss that out. All right. If your name rhymes with Flarin McMuffin, I'm looking at you. Now, one of my friends says, I love Young Living and I only use their Vitality line in my drinking water, but sometimes when I'm diffusing, I'll use up one of my old, cheaper oils. Why? That is the one place you especially do not want to use a cheap oil, okay? Remy, what oils just makes them stop? That's a great question. Unfortunately, stick around. You're going to learn that you don't want the feelings to stop. Okay, you want to deal with them, you want to process them, It's like, if you get groceries, just real quick, if you get groceries, do you bring them in your house and leave them sitting on your kitchen floor for your chicken to rot or your oranges to get stamped on and spread around? Or do you take care of them? You process them, you put them in the right place. You've got your meat and cheese in the fridge, you've got your fruit on the counter, you take care of them right when it happens, and then you won't have rotting carcasses in your kitchen. Okay, back to the class. Thanks for that rabbit trail, Remy. So when you diffuse an oil, you get it into the body faster than any other method, okay? And you don't just get it into any part of your body, you literally get it right into the center of your brain, all right, in about 3 seconds. So grocery shopping was too emotionally taxing. Yes, but you put them away, you deal with them, you don't leave them out, okay? And then you order pizza because grocery shopping is hard. So it gets into your brain in 3 seconds. It takes 26 seconds to absorb through your skin, like if you're going to the skin topically. It gets through, 7 layers of skin and muscle and past the body's defense system to even get into the bloodstream, right? From there, it's dispersed through the circulatory system, which also filters through the liver, which we'll also discuss. If you're having a hard time detoxing your liver and your liver is fatty, and you've never had alcohol in your life and you've got cirrhosis of the liver, did you know that could be caused by emotions? Now you do. So if you take an oil, let's say internally, it has to bypass even more bodyguards, all right? Oil taken internally goes right to the gut and the hydrochloric acid in the stomach to be broken down before it even hits the colon and gets absorbed through the colon wall with like all of its little hairy parts. Yeah, you have a hairy colon. So oils diffused in the air bypass just about everything, all right? They enter the nasal cavity, past the olfactory membrane to the top of the nose, and right through the blood-brain barrier, all right? So they are very fast moving, and I don't know about you, but I really don't want a cheap oil accessing my brain, all right? So how do the oils get there? So part of the reason that they are so quick to move straight to our brain is because of their size, all right? Oil molecules are smaller than viruses. That means they can cross that blood-brain barrier, and they've got access to the limbic lobe of your brain, which is the emotional control center to the entire human body, all right? It's like the dashboard to your car. So you can check on your gas, your oil, your speed, and just about everything in a single glance. It's like the control panel right there. So the limbic lobe is the place that I would hang out if I was working on my emotions, which I am. If I had to choose a second spot for some emotions work, it would be the gut, and that class is coming. So hang with me. So you may have seen this in the introduction to the class, but do you have a grumpy kid? Do you handle stress poorly? Does an incident in your childhood still have you afraid of the dark or dogs or chickens? Do you get tense in a room with lots of people? Are there painful memories that you hold on to that you are sure are keeping you from moving forward? Do you find yourself at the mercy of your emotions or moon cycles? To the point where they affect your day-to-day life? You are in the right place. You are in the right place. If you are in this class and any of those things affect you, you are in the right place. So, Derek, yes, you'd see Lizzie on the way. Come on, son. So it's not that any one oil, it's not that any one oil is going to like cure the things I listed above, but they will get into the limbic lobe and do some purging that will allow the body to do its own healing, because that's the science of emotional healing, and we will get to that in a bit. So, hang on, my cup is really far. I haven't talked to people in a hot minute. So, oiling on autopilot is something that I've had to learn to do because I have the ADHDs real good. And so just making it kind of part of a routine, part of just something that you just do, okay? You are going to have so many ideas when you are done with this class that will help you oil up for years. So I think our biggest issue is that we just forget to turn the diffuser on. We forget to get the oils on our skin. And it's not that we don't think it'll be amazing, right? It's just that we're busy. And I get that. And that's why I want to get you to a place where you are oiling on autopilot, right? Like it's part of your routine, and you do it without thinking. You walk in the door from work or from the Walmarts, and you just have a cup of water sitting next to your diffuser with the oil that you want, you know, that you're working on that day or that week. Just ready to go. And in 60 seconds, your living room is filled with Harmony oil, you know. So I will also, at the end of the class, I will include a really quick 1-page emotional release protocol after the event. You know, and I'm thinking maybe in the comments. But there's also an emotions scavenger hunt calendar that I should be able to share with you. If it's still up on the website, I can share it with you. It helps to get you oiling and diffusing every single day, no matter how busy you may be. So the more you oil, the more you are working on your emotions. You know, half the battle is just getting the diffuser into the on position, especially if you are already emotionally spent, especially if you already went grocery shopping and you're just done dealing with everything, right? So, oh, hi, Monica. So if you are feeling a bit overloaded, okay, and you have the Young Living Feelings kit, yes, they have a kit, it's called Feelings, grab Present Time oil, okay, and just take a whiff of it, just pass it under your nose a little bit. You know, that is one of my favorite oils for focusing on like the here and now, and keeping my eyes where they need to be. So let's start with the tools to emotionally release, okay? So I don't know if you've ever heard of anybody, you know, there's like emotional constipation, okay? Don't be that guy. You want to emotionally release, and that doesn't mean explosions. That doesn't mean like you let it build up, you let it build up, you let it build up, and then you cry for an hour and a half, you know, because there's just that straw. So for that, we go with the big dogs, okay? Young Living founder Gary Young, he came up with this kit called the Feelings Kit, all right? And it contains 6 bottles of emotional oils, and that includes, I had to write it down, Harmony, Forgiveness, Inner Child, Present Time, Release, and Valor. Valor is like my jam. I have been... Hello, my name is Jessica Collins, and I am addicted to Valor oil. Okay, so here's a little bit more detail about them. So Valor, I love using Valor. I have it on my arms right now. You can't see it because it blends in, but it's blue, and it's amazing, and I can tell that it's on just by me not freaking out right now. So they say to put Valor oil on the soles of both of your feet at nighttime, along with Highest Potential. I love that blend, okay? These blends were created to erase limited thinking, okay? Now, I don't know if you've noticed any time I use flowery language, okay? This is the part where I don't want you to think like I'm woo-woo. I have to be really careful with my wording because of the frequent dairy airplane. There, just the first letters of that. I have to be really careful that I don't say things like, oh, this will cure this buzzword. Oh, this is really good for this buzzword. Or this is great for this skin ailment. Or, because they're like, you can't say that. So if I say Valor makes you feel brave, they're like, you can't say that. But it does. So the flowery language is to protect me and like the Young Living Company. But the blends were created to erase limited thinking, okay? Valor balances and equalizes the body's energy, and you'll wake up in the morning with a more like self-assured start to the day. And I can personally vouch for this. Like, No lie. Straight up, no cap. There we go. So harmony, they say massage 1 drop of harmony oil along 7 points of the body that follow the spine. Some people call this the chakra, all the alphabet people, yes. Like some people call it the chakra, I don't jive with that, but there are 7 points along your body. So like your tailbone and your sacrum, so that bone like this, your lumbar, your dorsal, so like right about where your heart is, your cervical, where your neck meets your shoulders, and the medulla is where you can't see it on the back of my head. It's the hollow spot at the base of your skull, so where your skull gets bendy, okay? And the pineal, okay, right at the center of your forehead. So you can also massage harmony on the crown of your head. It balances the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous systems, okay, which gives us feelings of confidence. So, Gary Young used to say the biggest sin is not having confidence in yourself. He who lacks confidence lacks life, or she, okay? And again, I can attest to that. There were years that I had no confidence in myself, and like my self-doubt and my the self-talk I had was so, you can't do this, you'll never be able to, you can't, and it was so limiting. It's like putting yourself in a box and stapling it shut. Okay? So stop it. Now, forgiveness is the next oil. And again, this is going to be one of the ones that you're going to be like, okay. But listen, there are different oils for everything. And there are specific oils for everything. All right? And there are specific places on your body that you can put them that go straight to organs and straight to your brain and straight to, all of it. So forgiveness is an oil that Gary designed, okay? So it says apply forgiveness oil around the navel, that's your belly button, with the right hand, going clockwise several times, and think of situations where you need to forgive yourself or others. Do you know what your belly button is attached to? Other than your mother. Okay. The vagus nerve, which is connected to your entire body. Okay? God didn't make no mistakes when he was like, we're going to attach this to, you're going to, okay? Science, people. So, we beat up on ourselves, right? But everyone makes mistakes. Unforgiveness is one of the most common roots of physical, mental, and spiritual disease. Unforgiveness does not make the offending party sick, okay? It makes us sick. It would be like if I sat down and I drank some poison and thought about that dude that messed me up when I was a kid. Is that going to poison him, or is it going to poison me? Okay, so Gary said, number 1, forgive yourself for allowing the person to affect your health and happiness. Okay? Not like, oh man, like, well, what happened to me when I was 4 or 11 or 8 or whatever? Not being like any of that was my fault, but allow yourself forgiveness for letting that affect your health and happiness. So you have to forgive yourself, for one. Hi, Jackie. Number 2, forgive the other person for any harm he or she may have caused you. This does not need to be done directly, okay? There's a thing I want you to look up after this too. It's called Celebrate Recovery, all right? And some of these are from the not the steps, but like the principles of Celebrate Recovery. Like, you do not need to go to this person if doing so is going to harm you or another person, right? I'm not going to go to anybody who messed up my life as a kid and be like, listen, this is what you did. That no. Okay? If it is going to cause harm to you or another person, do not go to that person. Like, directly, personal, nothing. Okay? You don't need to be doing this in person. but an inner adjustment on your part. Okay, this is something that you do inside of yourself. So, number 3, give the other person permission to forgive you. Again, not if it is going to cause harm to you or another person. Okay. Now, number 4, see the good in the situation. All right. I grew up, I was a little bit of a Pollyanna. I'm a little bit of a silver lining. Well, at least blank, So see the good in the situation. It is harder than it should be. Number 5, be thankful for the experience and the lesson that it taught you, okay? If you get, let's just use horses for an example. If you get bucked off of a horse, I am not saying get right back on that horse. Maybe try another horse and learn how to not get thrown off the horse. That experience is teaching you something. It might be teaching you how to fall. It might be teaching you how to land. It might be teaching you how to get back up. Okay? But learn the lesson that it is teaching you. Allow yourself to learn the lesson. Okay? So inhale and apply forgiveness oil while going through these steps, and repeat as often as necessary to clear the feelings of unforgiveness, because again, it is not poisoning the other person. It is poisoning you. So, release. Some of you may know that release is sometimes one of my least favorite oils, because every time I open it, I just start sobbing uncontrollably. It's great. It's great. So, negative energy, okay, let's just put it that way. Negative energy goes into the blood and then into the liver, where toxins can remain trapped. Okay? The liver actually becomes a storage place for anger, resentment, bitterness, hatred, jealousy, envy, addictions, okay? And a host of destructive feelings. Now, apply a few drops of release oil over the liver area. Drink lots of pure water and do a liver cleanse. My favorite is the Miracle Gallbladder and Liver Cleanse. I think it's gallbladder and liver. By Andreas Moritz. I'm putting it in the comments, don't freak out. So, present time. When we live in the past or dwell in the future, we are not being productive now. We're not being productive in the present if we're worrying about 3 Thursdays from now, or what happened when you could have said this to that kid in 3rd grade. Okay? It's not helping you now. So Gary said, energize 3 drops of present time by making clockwise circles in the oil on the palm of your hand, which, if you look up DNA, that's the way your DNA is twisted. Okay. Then apply it to your thymus, which is right under your sternum or your breastbone. It will keep you focused on the tasks of today. Whether that is unloading the dishwasher for the 4th time or remembering to switch the laundry and turn on the dryer, it'll help. So Inner Child is another amazing oil. I love how all of these smell, even though all of them aren't like, oh my gosh, that's the best smell in the world. Like, they smell this way for a reason. So, Gary said about Inner Child, when you are a child, all things are possible. There are no limitations. Right? When you find your inner child, you have found your true self, and the child in you is your creativity. So apply 1 drop of Inner Child on the crown of the head, okay, like right there. And when did you stop believing that you could be a dinosaur or an astronaut or a police officer? When you were a little kid, anything was possible. So, let's run through the steps again. This takes less than 10 minutes a day. And, you can just do it. If you do it for like 30 straight days, I think you've done Gary's entire emotions protocol. So, the emotional release protocol, again, do not freak out about taking notes right now. You can rewatch it. I will have lists and stuff in the comments and in the event. So, Gary Young's emotional release protocol. Apply valor on the soles of both feet every night. Done. Easy, right there. Apply harmony. Since it may be hard for you to drop oil down the 7 points of your spine by yourself, if you don't have somebody to help you, you can also put it on the crown of your head. And that will allow you to do this protocol by yourself. Now, the crown actually refers to, it's not the top of your head, not right there. You want to drop it like almost right over your spine, right there, crown of your head. Now, forgiveness. Step 3, forgiveness around the navel with the right hand going clockwise. Now, does it seem weird that we have you using like certain hands in certain directions, doing things in certain motions? Okay. It is because God made no mistake in the design of your body. All right. Now, if you think it's strange, go right into scripture. Okay. There is a precedent of, like for specific application, like for specific oils usage for a specific spot at a specific time in a specific, okay? So Leviticus 14:28, and the priest shall put some of the oil that is in his hand on the lobe of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, in the place where the blood of the guilt offering was put. Biblical. Now, step 4 is release. Apply a few drops of release oil under the tongue, which, let me tell you what, is disgusting, but amazing. Okay, or over your liver Vitaflex points. I will talk in another class about Vitaflex points, but if you want to look up Vitaflex points, I'm like, this is your heart right here, and they have like different spots for your liver and stuff. So, step 5 is present time. Take 3 drops of present time, make clockwise circles in the oil on the palm of your hand, and then apply it to your thymus, okay? And then inner child to the crown of your head. That's step 6. So Gary says, use the feelings kit morning and night for 30 days. You will feel enthusiastic and magnetic. Do it and see how you feel. Okay? So we're going to do a real quick understanding of how, like the science of how oils work in your brain. Now, emotions are a topic that are not well understood, right? How does an oil have access to your brain? You know, now before we look at each oil individually, and I give you 2 more protocols for releasing emotions, assisted and unassisted, let's take a look at some science and lay a strong foundation for your belief system in oils. Now, I once read that the average Chicago Tribune Sunday newspaper contains more content than what a person in the 1800s would experience in a 100-year lifetime. Okay, that paper is significantly smaller than the amount of data that you and your kids are looking at in a span of a week on all of the social media, social networking apps out there. We are inundated with content and have some type of emotional reaction at every turn, okay? Our body builds emotional responses to the things that we see and read and hear and experience, and now we have stored responses that can repeat again and again and again as our cells duplicate and copy bad information that has been stored. And if that sounds familiar to you, like, well, I don't know, cancer. Anyway, essential oils help assist with barriers. Now, if you're looking at a single molecule, it contains hundreds of constituents. Some of them go by names like aldehydes or esters, and those 2 in particular are calming to the central nervous system, okay? They allow us to relax instead of the body building and storing emotions. All right, one reason that oils work for emotions is simply because of the constituents that they're naturally made of, okay? Those little molecules help plants process stress. I'm like, yes, you're like, what does a plant have to be stressed about? Listen, plants deal with stress all the time. They have to weather storms and bacteria and fungus, wind, flooding, droughts, bugs, all of that, all right? So God created them with oleoresins containing constituents to keep them safe, all right? Why not harness that for human emotions? So, how emotions work is that what happens when you have a strong emotion. All right. Say that you found out your 15-year-old daughter is pregnant, or your mom was in a horrific car accident, or that your home had caught fire. You know, scientists tell us that they can visibly see emotion hit the brain like a pebble tossed into a lake. There are ripples across the surface of the brain the second the news is heard. It is a physical effect to something emotional. But aren't emotions just emotions? Like, I cry and it's over. I tuck it away. I forget the pain of something hard. I squash it down like a trash compactor and it just goes bye-bye, right? No. That is absolutely not the way the body was designed by God. And we can see it scientifically in the human body. You may try to block out an emotion because it was uncomfortable, okay? But most of the time, something is getting stored in your body. Now, when an emotion happens, your body enacts like that fight or flight. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So it enacts the fight or flight senses and activates the endocrine system. Okay, your endocrine system is your hormones. It's all of them. Your endocrine system controls your hormones. So your hormones kick into high gear. They flood your body with adrenaline. All right, you can visibly see it happen if you had a strong enough microscope. So it's trauma. We've felt that when our heart rate is elevated from, like, I don't know, watching your favorite sports team. Go sports. But what happens after the trauma? The body releases some of it. It ignores some of it. It stores some of it as far from the brain and heart, because again, if it's not the right kind of emotions, it's toxic if you store it in your body. So it tries to store it as far from the heart and brain as it can. Some of it is left to fester, like wounds that never heal, or like that chicken that you left on the floor after you went grocery shopping and just couldn't deal with it. So, did you know the average cell can expand up to 600 times its size with toxins? Let that blow your mind real quick. 600 times. All right. Now, when we think of toxins, we might think of like using bad shampoo or making some not so great choices at the ice cream store. But emotions can be toxic too. All right. It's not just people. It's not just products. The memory gets stored with the hormones that are causing the emotion getting recalled again and again and again. Sometimes that can trigger lifelong health issues like panic attacks and anxiety, which I know nothing about. Okay? Just kidding. So, some would argue that toxins stored in certain parts of the body can cause actual pain, actual physical pain, back pain, fibromyalgia, okay? Depression causes pain. Pain doesn't cause depression. Depression causes pain. So, anyway, they can get stored in weak places where you already have injuries. If you've ever broken something, if you've ever, you have an organ injury, something, the toxins can be stored there because it's a weak spot in your body. So, Dr. John Upledger calls wounds like these somato or somato. It looks like tomato with an S. Somato emotional cysts. He said they are a defense response, okay, that is encoded. It's walled off from the rest of the body and never resolved. I don't want that. So the idea that emotions can be physically stored is like a little bit of an unusual concept. So let me explain. All right. In simpler terms, the body kind of takes these protective measures all the time. All right. You're aware of some of them. Okay. Possibly you've dealt with some of them. Maybe you've been hospitalized over some of them. Things like kidney stones, liver stones, gallstones. Okay. They are a buildup of toxic substances that can calcify. All right. Your body is literally trying to protect itself. So they can calcify into hardened stone. Or have like a chemical reaction that like encapsulates them inside of your organs, causing trouble. So we've just never thought of any of the toxins that start some of these stones as emotion. Like, who thought that anger could give you liver stones or calcify something in your gallbladder? Now you know. So Dr. Candace Pert says your physical body can be changed by the emotions you experience. Okay, she says a feeling sparked in our mind or body will translate as a peptide being released somewhere. Organs, tissues, skin, muscles, and endocrine glands, hormones, they all have these peptide receptors on them and can access and store emotional information. This means the emotional memory is stored in many places in the body, not just in the brain. You can access emotional memories anywhere in the peptide/receptor network in any number of ways. Unexpressed emotions are literally lodged in the body. By simply acknowledging emotions, they are expressed. In being expressed, emotions can be released, even old emotions stored in body memory. Okay, if you've heard of muscle memory, there's body memory. Your body is remembering things. Allowing my emotions to surface into awareness is the beginning of emotional exploration. I am moving forward to find my position in my family, community, and life. Okay, that was from that doctor. So, you can literally have emotions stored just about anywhere. Again, do not leave. Do not leave. Even if you don't agree with what I'm saying right now, hear me out. So your emotions can be stored just about anywhere. The chub in your thighs, or across your abdomen, or under your arms. Okay? Having a hard time, like getting rid of a fat roll, it may have an emotional root. So, your body is trying to keep it away from the vital organs. All right. Your heart and your brain. So, also, if you are going to go on a diet or clean up your diet or try to lose weight or any of it, make sure you have a handle on your emotions. Okay. Have a plan in place for detox, both physical and emotional. Okay. So your emotions can be stored in your fat cells and then re-released into your body, triggering all sorts of emotional turmoil for no reason. But it has a reason, right? I have seen this happen time and time again with friends and family members who have a large amount of weight loss, all right? My husband is one of them. But we were actually prepared ahead of time to do quite a bit of like detoxing and just like stuff like that. So I actually have a dear friend who I messaged and was like, can I use this in my class? And they said, absolutely, yes. So they are a faceless, genderless blueberry. So I have a dear friend who had a significant weight transformation that actually landed them in the mental hospital. Okay? When you have a large weight loss, your emotions that were stored in those fat cells can wreak havoc on your body right now and your mental and emotional health. All right. And so this person actually put the two and two together when we were discussing like emotions and stuff recently. And now they are better prepared for future endeavors. So let's walk this forward just a little bit more. Now, Gary Young said that 99% of emotions are made from feelings. If you want your life to be guided by good decisions that lead to health, happiness, and fulfillment, you need to be aware of and in control of your present feelings and the feelings of the past. Okay? It has been said that when there is a conflict between reason and feeling, humans will always side with feeling. Okay? Now, emotions affect your physical body. Many doctors are recognizing that a number of diseases are actually caused by emotional problems that link back to infancy and possibly even in the womb. Okay. So the content that I'm going to throw at you here next is a little abstract. Okay. It is so unusual that I am going to cite science for the next few minutes just to get you on the same page. All right. It falls into the category of stuff we don't talk to about dinner. Okay, we don't talk about this at dinner. So just walk with me. Forgotten traumatic experience affect every aspect of our lives, even how we make decisions, all right? We'll be limited by fear and like self-worth, all right? If you focus on those feelings, you can fix most aspects of your life, right? Oils pass into the emotional brain and bring us things that we have long forgotten so that we can deal with them, okay? And say your freezer died. We've had it happen, all right? And you don't notice it for a while. You're gonna have to deal with it once you get like, once you realize what's in it. So when we clear our emotional baggage, we can move forward. Now, Gary says that thought equals frequency, all right? Oils are registered in the body as intent or directed energy. When you apply an oil on your feet, it can saturate those cells within 60 seconds, stimulating creative thinking and pushing negative energy out of the cells and increasing your frequency, all right? The body is electric, literally. You know, you've ever seen that, the experiment where you like grab a light bulb and your body has electric frequency in it, okay? So people often ask me if they have an emotional release session, if it means they won't remember the memory anymore. And that isn't true. But you will flush the pain of the memory out of your cells. And the emotion that comes with it, anger, bitterness, though it may take dozens of uses of that oil. But the memory of what happens remains. Now, I can give a personal example of this. When I was a little girl, I was hurt by my babysitter at night, all right? Since I was 8, I have had a real problem with physical touch or physical affection with anybody, okay? After several emotional release sessions, I realized that I could hug somebody who wasn't my own child or husband without my heart rate increasing and without like, okay, like I can now give slightly less awkward introvert hugs to people, all right? Now, I remember what happened. The memory was not erased, but the emotion that caused me stress was gone, all right? That part had been released. Now, throw some hearts up if you're looking for some sort of release like that. Throw some hearts up. Do it. So I know you're still here. Throw some hearts up. I don't see them. There they are. So, how to do an emotional release session, okay? There are 2 different types of emotional releases. There is assisted and unassisted. So I'll run through the first very briefly with you. So an assisted, but for practical reasons, most of the class will focus on you learning to use the oils at home, like by yourself, because life is busy and we're not always going to be like, here, person, do the oils, put your hands on me. Like, we're not gonna have time for that. So, let me see if my husband is watching. If my husband is watching, could he send in a child that will hold still for me? So, assisted emotional release means that you work with an aromatherapist or somebody who knows raindrop technique and can do it with the emotional oils. So there's also emotional release specialists who can do it like over several sessions and stuff like that. Now, emotions are like layers of an onion, okay? It can take, you're like an ogre. It can take dozens of times to peel each layer back. Now, in an emotional release session, you would actually lay on a massage table as if you're doing a raindrop session, and an aromatherapist would work on your feet, your head, your occipital lobe, and your spine using grounding oils, release oils, and grounding oils again. So when an emotion is released, it can look a few different ways, all right? I have actually one time started sneezing uncontrollably. You could start crying, which is, again, something that is healthy for your body. Sorry, it is. Your body is using the excretory system to get rid of toxins. So you might start sweating or crying. You might go home and take like the largest dump of your life. So you could laugh. You could be like getting a twitch as the emotion is released. So for this session, I would do a raindrop opening with the Valor oil, but instead of using like oregano and thyme and the typical raindrop oils for your immune system, you would use the feelings kit in order, first on the feet and then on the spine, and then end with Ortho Ease to seal it in, and then White Angelica. So I have a kid here. Thank you, kid. And I'm not going to do the whole raindrop technique, but basically the raindrop technique is you would set your room up, you know, on a massage table. If you don't have one yet and you're just doing this on your kids, like use the bed or whatever. So take the lids off. You want to line them up in the order in which you'll use them, so that you don't have to take your hands off of the person. Because literally I'm going to do this real quick. You make a connection with the person. This is Emery's elbow. So you're going to do feet, and you literally make a connection with the person, and then you never take your hands off that person again until you're done. Okay, so you want those bottles open. You don't want to be messing with them while you're doing the raindrop. So you're going to have your recipient, the person who is getting the release, stand against the wall, because you're going to measure them, because some people grow. Okay, so you want to measure them, and then at the end you'll measure them again, and then you want to make sure that your nails are clipped, not as long as mine, a little bit shorter than that, because you're going to make electrical connections and then break it, and then and then break it, and then make it, and then break it, and then make it, and then break it. So that's Vitaflex. That's the Vitaflex technique, where you're literally making, breaking, and you can't have painted nails. So you're going to do feet, and then the spine. You're going to start with the right foot, and I'm actually looking forward to teaching a raindrop class. So if you guys are like, I want to do that for my kids, I want to do that for my husband, I want my husband to do that for me, come back. I will be doing a raindrop class at some point. So you'll do the different, oh, that was too far because I'm trying to remember. So then I'm going to use your back real quick. So then here's your back. You will drop the oils on the spine, right? So you're going to drop the oils on the spine, and then you will do different, it's called the feather and the fan. So you're going to be doing, so where's your sacrum? Right there. So you're going to go from the sacrum, and you're going to go 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And then, so you're going to go 1, 2, 3 up the back, and then do it again 3 times. Okay. So 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And then you're going to cut the back in half, and you're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 like that, up to 3, and then the whole back. And then you'll go 1, 2, 3, and you'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, and you never stop touching them. And then there's something called the angel wings, where you go up the back and then slightly down the arms, up the back and slightly down the arms. None of it is like a heavy contact. You're not going to make your hands tired. It's not an actual massage. It's more of like an oils application technique. Stay there for a second. And then you will do a couple of other techniques, like around the spine. You're going to do a pull, and you'll pull, and you'll pull. And then like the palm slide up and down the back. And then, so you do that. I have a cheat sheet as well. And so you go through all of the oils, and you do all of the techniques, and then she'll either start sneezing or crying or peeing herself. I don't know. So you do not drop all of the oils on at the same time. You start with Valor, and then you go to Harmony, and then you go to President. Like you do them in the order that you do. All right. Thank you, Henry. So I'm seeing that I'm getting comments, but I can't see any of them. So hold on just a second. I'm going to see if I get any stuff in here. I'm not seeing any. Oh, good. Sweet. So let me go back to the thing. So, additional oils, like some of the amazing things about the raindrop is you can tailor them specifically to the needs of the person in front of you. Are they a tired mom? Drop some energy, you know, on step, I think 9. Have they had a traumatic incident, which most of us have? Hello. Add trauma life. Are they having nightmares? Add dream catcher. You know, simply drop the oil on their spine and just repeat the feathering and then the fanning steps. And then you also add cypress because that helps open the open the veins and get things moving faster. And then just different the different oils and the different application techniques. And then seal it. You're going to use Ortho Ease massage oil. If you don't have that, fine, just use like a carrier oil or something. And then end it with Valor. Sprinkle that Valor on, like just sprinkle it like a thunder shower. And then White Angelica is another oil. You can use Valor if you don't have White Angelica, but I love White Angelica because it helps to emotionally seal what you've done. Like, okay, now it's in there. I love White Angelica because it helps me feel insulated against other people's crappy attitudes. Just saying. So I don't catch them. And then after you do the raindrop, you will do a hot compress with a hot, wet towel. Wet, not wet, but like hot, damp towel. And then leave them alone. This is when you break contact. You break contact and you leave them alone and you let them do whatever they're going to do. And then don't go longer than 10 minutes because that towel will get cold. And then give them Ningxia and remeasure them to see if they've grown. And then make sure that if you get this done or if you're doing this on your kids, make sure that you hydrate heavily for the next 3 or 4 days because your body is going to be detoxing. All right. And so I'll run through the oils at the end of the class to like kind of let you know exactly what the oils do so you have a better understanding. So that is the assisted. And then unassisted is one that you just do by yourself at home, in your bedroom, whatever. This is a lot simpler. There's no weird, you don't have to clip your nails, nothing. So there are 3 different ways to use your oils. All right, there's internally, following the French method, topically on your skin, following the British method, or diffusing or inhaling, following the German model of essential oil use. So after about 15 minutes, your cell receptor sites at the top of your nose get full and they can't receive new information. That's why you will stop smelling, like when you're baking cookies, you'll stop smelling them after a while. But then you'll smell them again like 10 minutes later when somebody has stolen a cookie and they walk back into the room. So you need to give your receptor cell sites a break to absorb the new information. So the most effective way to use oils with emotions is to diffuse in like 15-minute bursts or leave the room every like 10 or 15 minutes if you've just got their diffuser running. So your cell receptor sites can absorb that oil and then take a break and then absorb the oil and take a break, okay? So like if you're just letting the diffuser run at the end of a long day, don't sweat it. You've had a long day. You just need some targeted emotional oils. Just turn it on, turn it off. So the second and also extremely effective way to use oils, I am floored every time. I'm like, holy crap, that worked. Wow. Place them on your Vitaflex points. All right, you have Vitaflex points on your hands, on your feet, down your spine, and they run to every organ in your body. Okay? When you place an oil there, it shoots right up the nerve and goes to that organ. That's crazy. Now, there is a book called Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils by Dr. Carolyn Main that has a wonderful 9-page guide in the middle that tells you which oils to use for which emotions. For example, If you are feeling angry, if you are feeling useless, vulnerable, a victim, or lazy, you would apply an oil in a specific place. So, for example, like, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here. Her book is excellent. I would recommend that you pick it up. In the center of the book, you can look up the most effective oil, make sure you have it on hand, and then place it on your skin. So I'm going to give you a little example of about 20 of the most common-ish emotions and their companion oil and placements. So again, there will be a list at the end. Don't freak out. Don't try to write these down and be like, oh my gosh, I missed something. I've got this list. I can put it in the comments. So Australian blue for disgust. Put it on your bronchial airways. You can either put it under your lungs or on the Vitaflex point for the bronchial airways. Awaken for hopelessness. Put it on your bones. Again, you can't reach your bones. There's a Vitaflex point for that. Brain power for brain fog. Put it on your big toes or the back of your neck. Cedarwood for survival mode. Put it on the male-female organs. Again, don't actually put them on your male or female organs. Vitaflex points. Cardamom. I love the smell of cardamom. Self-pity. Put it on the hip bone. Citrus fresh. Not wanting to be here. Put it on the pancreas. Forgiveness for betrayal. Put it on the gallbladder. Remember we talked about gallstones and stuff? Unforgiveness. Harmony is for sarcasm. I don't have a problem with that. I'm going to put that on my brain. Hyssop for swallowed emotions. Put it on the throat. Jasmine, feeling unworthy. Put it on the brain stem. Joy for disappointment. You put it on your throat. Magnify your purpose. Victim attitude. Put it on your chest and brain stem. Oregano for a fear of completion. You don't want this book to end. You don't want this season to end. Okay. Oregano, put it across your forehead. Peppermint is for failure. You can put it on your thymus. Again, it's under your heart. Peace and calming, if they're argumentative. Put it on your thyroid. Sage is for letting it go. Let it go, let it go. Put it over your bladder. Tea tree, feeling disempowered. Put it on the T1 on the back of your neck. Thieves, feeling uncertain. Put it on the salivary gland, Vitaflex points, or take the Vitality oil internally. Valor, feeling persecuted. Put it over the kidneys. Vetiver, overactive mind. Put it around the eye. Idaho Grand Fir, or any fir, feeling inadequate. Put it on the top of your head. Boop. Lang, fear of wisdom. I don't want to know that. I don't want to be smarter. Put it over your pituitary gland. So, if that has not convinced you to get Dr. Main's book, which is phenomenal, I do not know what will. The entire book is a great read, and that is just a sliver. So, how do I know what to do? The neat thing about emotions is that it really doesn't require a medical degree to figure it out. If you were to sit with a list of emotions like the one that I just read, just read through it for a few minutes. You'd likely be able to pinpoint exactly what you're feeling. Now, sometimes we just need the words in front of us to make that connection emotionally. With children and teenagers, it can be a little bit difficult because it will show up as one emotion, like maybe disrespect, when what's really going on is that they are feeling inadequate or insecure. So start with the emotion that you think might be the root. And if you're not seeing them calm down, try a different oil the next day. It's trial and error. And honestly, that's perfectly okay. Oils do not come with a laundry list of side effects that, because they're not synthetically made, right? God knew what he was doing when he made the plants. If you pick the wrong one, no harm done. There's no like, oh my gosh, now, you're going to have withdrawal. Now there's this. Now you're going to have brain zaps. No, just try a different one the next night. So there are no degrees required to love on your kids and help them and their emotions with a few drops of oil. Okay? Dr. Mom, that's what you can call yourself now, or Dad. So oils for emotions are they're definitely underused. If you're working with something physical, like a mild headache that doesn't require a lot of thought, you're like, my head hurts, I'm going to use this oil. You break it out when you need it. But an emotion is so abstract. You might not pick up on it right away, right? Now, here's what I can tell you. You can feel when something is off. There may be tension in your home. There may be words spoken that are not usually spoken. There may be a level of like anger or sarcasm that is just, it's unusual, and you can't quite like pinpoint the cause, but my family is being difficult. You can open Dr. Main's book, or even go back to the list that I will put in the comments when we're done. Just start picking up things that may be the root. So maybe it's hope, maybe it's purpose, maybe it's loneliness, maybe it's a feeling of inadequacy. If they let you apply the oil, go for it. Some teens love a back rub or a foot rub. If not, be sneaky, put it in a diffuser. Where's your pituitary gland? Brain area. Yes, like back here somewhere. So, put the diffuser in their room at night until maybe they let you apply the oil to them. You're still getting the oil in them, like in their body, in their brain. So now some of the points on Dr. Main's list are like the thymus, and you can't get to it. It's all up in your brain, or here, right here. Like you can't touch it. You can't put an oil on it. And in that case, you would put it on the Vitaflex point, or like your bones. You don't want to actually put any oils on your bones, because that means they're exposed and you're probably in pain. So don't do that. Put it on the Vitaflex point, or directly over the organ outside of the skin. Like, where your bladder is, where your heart is, okay. So I love to use oils in times of transition, like things are changing, things are shifting, something's different. If you have a child like starting school or switching schools, or trying new sports or activities, if you have to switch churches or move cross country 2 times, your schedule at work has changed, it is time to oil up. Kids are, I don't know if you know this, they're creatures of routine. And they don't do well when things change. They don't feel safe. All right. And oil on the back of the neck can make so much difference for them. Be in tune with them. I think the simplest answer I can give you on when to use oils for emotions is to watch what's going on around you, right? With emotions, you really have to be intentional. We tend to live every day in survival mode, and we'll notice that a kid or a spouse is upset, or at the very least, like, link their frustration with weird behavior hours or sometimes days after the actual issue happened. So be a savvy oiler. You don't need to go that long with irritation in your home. I grab an oil first, I get it on them, or I get it up their nose, and then sit down and talk through the situation. All right, I do this with my almost 7-year-old. And that oil alone may give you the space to speak. Now, boop, 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 boop. Something else that I'm going to really establish doing, Derek, heads up, is a couple of times a year, grab Dr. Mind's book and use it on myself and my husband, especially if I have a lot on my plate, which is so rare, really. If I'm on overload, or if I'm noticing that maybe I'm sipping the haterade a little bit, and like, look at this jerk eating chicken like he owns the place, I love you, honey. If I notice that there are like fiery emotions in my home that are lasting more than a day or two, then it's not circumstantial, right? Like, it's not happening because of a bad day at work or a meanly spoken word or something. There may be something more under the surface. I would rather release it from my body, put the groceries away, than store it to deal with it later. All right. In that case, I will look up the emotion. I'll be purposeful, do a quick like 3-day, 7-day protocol of putting the needed oil directly on my skin where I'm told to in the book, and then diffuse it at night close to my bed. All right. That is key. Do not put the diffuser across the room from you. Ideally, you want it less than 3 feet from your head and at or below eye level when laying down. Don't like oils rise, so if you're going to put it like above you on a dresser, they're not going to get you as easily as rising. So, so if it's on like a tall dresser or something like that, a shelf across the room, you may not be getting to smell the oil. Don't put it near a window or a fan either, because then it just goes outside. So, yeah, I've had really good success diffusing oils and helping with some of our charged emotions, because you don't have to chase anybody down. The diffuser comes to them. Pro tip, Mama 5, okay? I have fiery kids. And so we have a lot of little tempers in our home. 3 of my 5 kids are boys. And you can also add testosterone to the mix, which means they can escalate fast. All right. On top of that, I'm an ambivert. So like I'm both introverted and extroverted. Most of my offspring are super loud most of the time. We have 4 loud kids and 1 sweet, soft introvert who kind of gets pulled along for the ride. The energy between these boys can lead to some tension, occasional fiery outbursts with little warning as my kids decide who has the largest muscles. And I once read that hyssop oil was really good for clearing charged emotion out of a room. And I thought it was a little woo-woo until I tried it. I came out of the kitchen after doing dishes, and big emotions were in full display in our living room. And I slipped about 10 drops of hyssop in that diffuser and flipped it on. And all I can say is go try it. Okay, go try it. Everyone walked away like they had just been given like a new puppy. I don't know. So if you, okay, I don't know what the science is behind hyssop, but if you have boys or any kids of any gender, you will thank me later. And not having to chase down 5 kids plus yourself and your spouse. I mean, you can't lose with a diffuser. So, there is one last component to emotional release that I have not touched on yet. It is very important, and it has to do with the spoken word. Whenever you are working on an emotion, it's really important to focus on what counselors call your way out. Every emotion has an opposite emotion, right? Anger has joy, frustration has peace, etc. So as you're applying the oil, picture in your mind what it feels like to be free of that emotion. Sometimes you're so lost in it that it is really hard to find your way out. Okay, there's a great book that is simple and compact that I recommend called Heal Your Body. I mentioned it at the very beginning of this class, by Louise L. Hay, that gives you a way out so you don't have to focus on it. For example, for anxiety, it says you are not trusting the flow and process of life. Okay, yeah. Like, the way out is I love and approve of myself. I trust the process of life, and I am safe. All right, Carolyn Mine's book and Louise L. Hay's books are my go-to for like an encyclopedia of emotions that I need to figure out. Now, the concept of words of life is biblical. It's scriptural, okay? Proverbs 15:4, gentle words bring life and health. A deceitful tongue crushes the spirit. Did you notice the word "and's health"? And health in that sentence, okay? I didn't say it, the Bible did. Now, Proverbs 16:24, kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. Oh, there it is. We've got health linked to speech again in scripture. Proverbs 18:4, a person's words can be life-giving water. Words of true wisdom are as refreshing as a bubbling brook. 1 Peter 3:10, if you want to enjoy life, I do, and see many happy days, keep your tongue from speaking evil and your lips from telling lies. That includes about yourself. I am looking at you, Sam. I'm looking at you, Lacey. I'm looking at you, Aaron, okay? That includes about yourself. Your body works so hard to make the things that you say into truth. Okay? So, do you see a pattern there? Repeatedly, God equates the way you feel with the way you speak and are spoken to. All right, I'm looking at you, Tabitha. So I do realize that though it can be really hard to get your head in a place where you can speak life over yourself, especially if you've been abused, especially if you have been beaten down, especially if you have lost hope, especially if you have forgotten who you are, son or daughter of the King. Okay. You are anointed, and it is time to speak freedom over yourself. Now, remember, it may take so many sessions, all right? Even if you're working just like by yourself with the oils at home. We've talked about physical application. Now let's talk about your head. Half of all you do is mindset, all right? Like there's a 4-step process that you can use to start, all right? Is it okay that I have 8 diffusers? How many rooms do you have? Because that might not be enough. The process is identify the pattern. Identify the pattern that is linked to the emotion. For example, when my husband talks about my mother, it makes me angry. Understand the opposite side of that emotion. My husband's dislike for my mom makes me tense. Discover a way out of the emotion. What is the opposite of tense? Think about that, okay? And then use the oils aromatically or topically and rinse and repeat. So a great book on this topic is Dr. Benjamin Purkis's Aroma Freedom Technique book. I've actually walked through the Aroma Freedom Technique in front of people, and I cried, and I hated it, and it was amazing, and I felt so much better. Anyway, so his name is Dr. Benjamin Purkis. It will help you walk through the emotions and have another really simple topical and aromatic emotional release session that you can do to process stored trauma. So you can check out his work, actually, don't leave yet, at www.aromafreedom.com. Again, I'll put that in the comments. I hate to throw more books at you through the course of one single class, but I promise you that if you have these 4 books, you will truly have an emotional release arsenal. And it is a full library full of reference points, all right, far more than I can teach you in such a small space. I really need to go outside of these books for what I need. So the 4th book is Feelings Buried Alive Never Die by Carol with a K Truman. In it, she gives a few paragraphs you can speak over yourself if you need the words to say, to emotionally release. So fill in the couple of lines before you start. She has a wonderful prayer of emotional release. And if you need the words, here they are. So, Maureen, if you're watching this, it's true. No, I'm just kidding. So her words are, I'm getting distracted. In the name of Jesus Christ, subconscious, conscious, heart, mind, will, nervous system, brain, RNA, DNA, and every genetic anomaly out of alignment with my pattern of perfection, asterisk, please locate the origin of my conscious and subconscious destructive cellular memories which caused the incorrect perceptions that created thoughts, feelings, beliefs of blank. Take every level, layer, area, and aspect of my being to these origins, analyze and resolve them perfectly with God the Father's truth, come forward through all generations of time and eternity, healing every event and its appendages based on origins. Please do it according to God the Father's will until I am at the present filled with light and truth, God's immanence, peace and love, benevolence, forgiveness of myself for my imperfect perceptions, having compassion for every person, place, circumstance, and event which contributed to any of these destructive cellular memories, feelings, thoughts, or beliefs. With total forgiveness and unconditional love, I ask that my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual memory of perfection asterisk resonate throughout my being. I choose being, insert positive feelings. I feel, same truth. I am, same truth. And it is done. It is healed. It is accomplished now. Thank you for coming to my aid and working together to help me rid my being of stress and attain the full measure of my creation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and I praise God the Father from whom all blessings flow. Now all facets of my being, please put this scripting on automatic so it repeats through each and every cell and fiber of my being every half hour of every day for the next 180 days or however long it is best for me, thereby restoring perfectly healthy frequencies throughout my being and returning me to my original purpose, power, and magnificence. And it is done. Amen. The asterisk was, and God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, Genesis 1:26. So like, he created us, he created Adam and Eve to be perfect, to be able to process emotion, boom, 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 and not store it. We messed that up. So we need to go to him to fix it, right? So this is almost wrapped up. I'm almost done, I promise. This has been a full course on emotional release. Now, you know where to get a kit. You have Gary's protocol. You have assisted and unassisted emotional release training in full detail. You have the how and the why and the science. You have the words. Now, pause in the busy of your life and be consistent. Even if your consistency is a single oil on your toes at bedtime, or, you know, because you took the time to place some forgiveness oil at your bedside table, all right, you will define consistent based on what you can handle. So even if your consistency is 3 drops of release in the diffuser each night, or harmony or valor as you walk in the door from your day, you have done a great job. Even if your consistency looks like prayer in a 10-minute release session twice a year with your spouse, all right? Even if your consistency is a one-time 30-day emotional boot camp where you kick your own emotional tuchus, using the protocols in the script with your teenager together or just before bed, even if the consistency is investing in you so that you can invest in others. Apply your own oxygen mask first, ladies, gentlemen, moms and dads. You know, so snag an emotional release book and start experimenting with the oils on yourself, in small moments you have to yourself. Whatever consistency looks like to you, the only mistake you can make is leaving your oils on a shelf untouched. Okay? What if the minutes you invest make a difference? All right, you may be chasing 100 protocols or ignoring what's going on because it's too painful to process. The groceries are too hard to put away after you just shopped all day. All right, when the answer has simply been an oil in a bottle. Try it, play, and see where it goes. All right, so the apply it section. This class is deep. All right, it's one of the first collections that Gary Young put together on a specific topic after he started Young Living, because so much of what we feel physically is rooted in emotion. If you don't own this collection and you aren't using these oils regularly, you're missing out on a side of your own healing, especially if you are not an emotional person. Okay, that's like saying I don't really poop. I don't poop. No. Okay, where's it going? Okay, so anyway, Gary studied emotions before he studied frankincense and went on the frankincense trail. If you are not sure where to start, begin by diffusing a single oil. Okay, it's the fastest way to your brain. We let our emotions explode around the people near us, the people closest to us, when really an oil in a diffuser can help save many arguments. All right, use the oils in your arsenal. Use the tools that you have in your toolbox. So, the action steps would be get the oils, okay? Get the feelings kit. Again, I will have a link. You don't have to go looking for it. I'll have a link, like go get them. Do an emotional release session on yourself using the protocol cheat sheet, which I will link. If you are in need of a really good purging, okay, yeah, your emotional crap that you've been holding in for 30 something years, I would do one every day for 30 days, every day for 30 days. So sit with your kids and do a mini raindrop, okay, of the emotional oils on them at bedtime. If you have a sourpuss in your family, I'm not saying I do, put a drop of joy or rose, maybe geranium, on their heart at night, okay? You will thank me for this later. So do a feelings survey. I know it sounds weird, but like it will get you used to using the emotional oils more frequently. For a week, take note of 3 emotions, all right, that you have every single day and write them down. Find a common theme, right? And then at bedtime, take an oil related to that emotion and put it in your diffuser and on your feet. It takes less than 2 minutes. You can even do it while you're brushing your teeth, put it in the diffuser, okay? Now, be sure to take note if you see that emotion less frequently or like not as violently. For example, I found that when I am under stress or I eat too much sugar, I'm short with my family. All right, it's the anxiety that I have. Notice I'm not calling it mine anymore. It's not mine. It's just anxiety that I have. So, you know, I started putting brain power in the diffuser at night for a week, even before I cut sugar, and wow. Okay, so I have lost my notes. I think I had one more book. Oh no. The director of the CARE school, C-A-R-E, all capital, Anthony Stewart, actually generously gifted us a 1-page protocol for the emotional release that he wrote. His dad is the one who came up with, very young, they came up with the raindrop technique to get those oils on your nervous system, get them on your spine, get them to all the organs that they need to get to. So, I can send it through the group chat, hopefully, for you guys to save. Now, if the notes on emotional release were overwhelming, which I found that they were, you will appreciate the simplicity of his cleaning protocol that can be done in under 5 minutes, all right? Now, I really want to thank each and every one of you for hanging out with me, like, through this class. I know that some of it was overwhelming and that our brains hate change. Change literally signals to our body that something is dangerous, and you're probably feeling that right now. A little scared, a little like called out. Now, to make things easier, I actually have a link to every single oil that I mentioned tonight and the feelings kit that I mentioned, so you can easily add it to your carts or whatever, save it. I have it set up for subscribe to save because, again, I'm like, save the people money. So I learned through math that the buying the feelings kit without the member discount, okay, stay here, without the member discount is $250. With all 6 oils, $250. But with the discount, it's $188. That's opposed to if you buy each of the oils separately. Buying the feelings kit with the discount saves you over $100, because the math just left my head. Over $100 it saves you. So if you do not already have a Young Living account, I would be absolutely honored to help you set one up. So please message me after the class if you want any help. And I want to thank you for giving me the honor of your time. And I hope that you are able to apply everything that you've learned from this class in your everyday life, and that it helps you and your relationships thrive and be healthy and happy. And so I am just as concerned for my family's mental health as I am their physical, and I'm sure you are as well. So, knowing now that emotions can actually cause toxic reactions in the body, what will that change for you? So let me know in the comments. I am really looking forward to seeing, you know, like a whole new generation of people who know now new ways to handle conflict inside their households. I am so excited to see you guys and your kids and your children's children, like being able to process their emotions in a healthy and progressive way for your whole body health. It's going to be great. So thank you again for joining me. And if you want to know about upcoming classes, please join my Facebook group, the Pink Haired Oils Lady. I have classes coming up like how I hospital proofed my kids, gut health. I have a class about between the sheets. Again, I'm Jessica Collins, the Pink Haired Oils Lady, and it was my privilege to share this with you tonight. Join me again soon. Thanks. Bye.